Jonathan Greenard, how are you?
I'm great. Even better now. I just got a little lift in, the endorphins are kicking in, so I'm feeling pretty good right now.
I'm glad you wore what you wore. It's 100 degrees in here. We're in a greenhouse, literally.
I literally was on the way over here, and I was like, this breeze is going to kill me. As soon as I got in here, I said, okay, I wore the right attire.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow. That's why I'm in the green. It's not working at all. How you feeling today?
I'm good. We just finally somewhat getting adjusted to that time change a little bit. Guys are pretty much, it's kind of like our off day, so you can come get a lift. Just get outside, get the sun. Just get a feel for it, get used to it over here, because obviously it's a little bit different, not too much different from Ireland, but being here just soaking it up. Obviously just after the day after the game.
The rest of the guys, I'll ask questions for you in a minute, but guys, one more thing about this. It's been interesting reading stories, and even when we had the commissioner on the pregame on Sunday. This is an experiment for them, a team coming over and playing 2 weeks in 2 different countries. Obviously, we've had teams play 2 weeks in a row, but in the same country. Doing something like this is different. It's something that they had to experiment with, and he said the Vikings were a really good option for that because the ownership is open to it and the coaching staff was open to it, and we do this really well as a team. I shouldn't say we. I have nothing to do with it. You get my point. That said, though, where do you think it lies? Is it better to go from Ireland straight to here and just be acclimated and get that extra week, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think if they are going to do that, I think the plan that we've done so far is pretty good. Even going back to last week in Ireland, just how everything was just set up. As soon as we got off the plane, just getting our bodies moving. So KO and Tyler do an amazing job, and Joe, our whole staff, pretty much do a really good job of just trying to set us up for their put our best steps forward to kind of get us acclimated as best as we can. Because obviously it's not going to be perfect, but we're professionals at the end of the day. So I think that's the thing that we have to understand is we get paid to be able to adjust to these things. So I think that's the challenge in the midst of it all. Even though people can have their opinions. I mean, we can sit here and say, we wish we would play in the States, but who wouldn't? But obviously, it's not our way. But at the end of the day, all we can do is control the controllables and obviously be thankful for this opportunity and just try to capitalize on it.
Go ahead, guys.
Yep.
Jonathan, let's go back before we look ahead to the Cleveland Browns. Let's go back. Yep. Let's specifically talk about the moment you chased Aaron Rodgers down and you knocked the ball out. Can you walk us through that play and then that moment when you realized that you got the ball to bounce loose and hope that one of the Vikings teammates jumped on it?
Yeah, sure. Literally it was a play. I think we're in two-man-ish, something like that, two-man, where we have the quarterback. And I just knew before, I was like, listen, I'm expecting him to step up, so I threw my best inside move. Didn't work, but I just knew that I couldn't give up on the play, so I just started seeing him scramble a little bit. And once I took off running, I was just running for my life, and I see him kind of scramble up. He looked at me slightly, and then when I seen him take his eyes off me, he looked the other way to make sure nobody else on his other side. That's when I leaned in for my shot and hit the ball. But man, I don't know, man. Every time I've gotten the ball out so far here, and it just hasn't come back my way. But I'm just going to keep working, man. I know that the ball is eventually going to fall into my favor. The football gods will bless us on one of those. But still a great play. I'm still honored, obviously, to get to play a quarterback like him and obviously get him on the ground. But definitely wish that ball had came our way.
Jonathan, while you were remembering that, you closed your eyes for a minute. Can you see that play in your head? Did you remember it that cleanly?
I try to get rid of it. But man, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's you can't control those things. All you control, in that moment, like I alluded to, was your effort. And I just you know what, I'm just going to keep chasing until that whistle's blown. But who knows? I'm just glad I was able to get him on the ground. But definitely got to get the ball out as well.
Jonathan, you just did something when you gave that answer that you also did last week, which we were asking about a specific play. And you talked a little bit about sort of the overall coverage and defensive scheme you're in stuff. That's kind of thing that even that football people like to talk about. But you also talked about specifically almost about it as if it's a martial arts kind of thing. Here is, I had to wait until his eyes darted this way, and then I could do that. And last week when you were talking about a sack, you did something very similar. I reached this way, and then they went that way, etc. That's not something we ever talk about. That's not something we ever analyze. But it feels to me like maybe that's a significant something that you guys pay attention to even more so than the defensive schemes and such. Is that true? Is that something is that what you're training when you're doing things, or is a lot of that just instinctual or from playing decades of football? Yeah,
kind of a little bit of both. I think just knowing who you're playing against. The quarterbacks become the most athletic people ever whenever you're chasing them. It's kind of like when you're running from somebody, you become the fastest person ever. So, you never can kind of call or kind of just predict what they're going to do. You have an idea, kind of like, let's say, this week, with Joe Flacco, he's kind of more of a, we say like an old school, statue, kind of in the pocket, taller, bigger quarterback, want to see all the reads, and he's 6'5" and stuff like that. Alluding to, obviously, Jake Browning back then, he's more of a smaller guy, but at the same time, he's not the craziest athlete, but, he can get it, escape and kind of extend some plays at times. But just knowing your opponent going in each week, it's always kind of you have to beat your man first, but then obviously you want to finish the play by bringing the quarterback down. So it seems easy because obviously, we're professionals and we have to do it, and there's no excuse about it at all. We got to get the guy on the ground, and that's where we kind of hone in on every week. It's like, what does this guy like to do whenever he is in pressure? Does he like to spin out? Is he a ducker? Is he a person that steps up? Is he step back? Is he a guy that's just going to chalk it on the ground so he doesn't get a sack? You have to know all these things, and I think that going into each week we have an idea, and then obviously – there is the unknown. Sometimes they're going to just run a play or do something that's out of the norm and kind of get you thrown off schedule a little bit. But once again, I keep alluding to, we're professionals. You got to learn how to adjust.
Jonathan, there's a rumor that the Browns might make a quarterback switch to somebody, Dylan Gabriel, who has never played an NFL game. From a prep standpoint, how do you prep for that? Do you watch his college tape? Is that something you kind of dive into to kind of see those moves that he might make?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate to say. Yeah, I think you can look at a little bit of both. I think he has a little bit of preseason film, but ultimately we're still going to treat him as if he's the starter. I mean, as he's been there, we give everybody who steps on that field the utmost respect just because, one, it's an honor to be here, and they choose a one of ones to be here. And two, they've earned that respect. I mean, we can't go out there and say just because I played in the league for 6 years and this is his first game or whatever, who's to say he doesn't have his best game in his career and still does these things. So you have to honor everybody with the utmost respect. So I'm excited. I'm excited for him to get this opportunity. I'm just excited to get another opportunity to play against these guys. And we're just coming off of an L, so we have no room to treat anybody with any least bit of respect. We got to basically hone back in on the basics and get back in that W column.
Again, live with Jonathan Greenard from the team hotel just outside of London, England. I say that, but it's actually about an hour and a half or 2 hours outside of London, England. But a beautiful area, and we're so glad you joined us, Jonathan. Thanks for coming over and making the time. Bringing up the one thing you can't do anything about, I know there's a lot of ways to answer this that are pretty cliche, but as a Viking fan, man, the injuries just are breaking our hearts. Yeah. How do you guys deal with that mental aspect of knowing so many of your comrades around you aren't able to play?
Yeah, I think just – when we all signed up for this, we all understand injuries are the inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just obviously based off of spectrum how big or small the injuries are, but things are going to happen. You just obviously hope that it doesn't happen to your teammates, but it's a part of the game. So we just prepare every week. Even the backups, every time we tell them, look, prepare as if you're going to be the starter. You never know in this game. Something can happen literally at the snap of a finger, and you have to go in and perform just like that starter was just in there doing. So we carry that starter mentality for everybody, just kind of like how, just specifically for our room as OLB room, we know us, Gink, and DT, even the guys like Bo Richter, Gabe Murphy, Chaz, all of these guys literally have to be ready when their number is called because, God forbid if something else happens like that, they have to step in, So we understand that it happens. We're going to just continue to wish them the best. I feel like those guys are going to want us to play our best and not lose any ounce of sleep over it because we're still have a whole season going on. We're 2-2 right now. We need to get it back in this dub column, and I'm pretty sure if they want to be out there, they're going to make sure that we are going 10 toes down and make sure that we carry that on.
Giant human beings running into each other at full speed.
100%.
Trying to get each other to the ground.
Yeah.
I would guess almost every play something hurts.
Yeah.
How quickly when you're laying there do you know whether you're hurt or injured?
Hey, man, you got to make a very quick decision or the decision will make it for you.
Yeah, right.
So it's pretty rough. But how I always looked at it, man, listen, if I'm going to be a disservice to my team and I'm not going to be able to help my team, I need to come off the field. I don't care if a guy's out there limping or if he's doing something like that and he's not going to be himself to be able to produce for the team, not just maintain or, stay in your gap and do the things that somebody else can easily do. But if you're not going to be able to win your matchup and dominate your matchup, I feel like you should take yourself out just honestly for the sake of yourself and the team, just so that we can come back and be 100%. So I've always been like that. There's certain things you can play through. I'm not going to sit here and say every time something comes up, you just sit out for an injury. But and also you have to understand the difference between injured and hurt, So I think that's just a personal thing that players have to deal with. And hopefully the team doesn't have to get involved. Obviously, if they have to pull you out of things of that sort, you should kind of have that own discernment amongst yourself to kind of know when enough is enough and when you need to call it.
Couple more guys, we got to let them get to breakfast or lunch. Lunch over here. So
yeah, exactly right. It's crazy.
Well, you got anything fun planned this week? I know you guys are, on a business trip. This is a career. You have a game to play on Sunday, but do you have anything in London or around London that's just for entertainment in the next 5 days?
Yeah. I think today is kind of like our downer, like one of the lower days for us. Obviously, as we pick back up into a regular game week. Some guys we're definitely going to probably go see some sightseeing around downtown London. Even though he said it's like an hour and a half out, we kind of prepared for that, knowing that we're going to be a little bit further away. But using this day to kind of just get out, get our feet on the ground, and just under the sun, just be with the guys for a bit. And then obviously we lock back in for business. But yeah, we definitely have some stuff planned. Families, a lot of guys' families are here, so they're going to be obviously just chilling with them. But as we still know, it is a business trip. But today, I think we're going to just probably enjoy it for the sites.
Anybody else? Nope. Good. All right, Jonathan. Thanks for making the time, man.
Always.
I appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Thank y'all, man. Love it.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all.